Welcome everyone to Half History Will Travel. I am your host, the Wilder Historian, and I knew eventually that I would talk about Nazis, just like any History Channel will inevitably. I remember when they called the History Channel the Hitler Channel, because of how many shows they put out about him. However, this is different. When I talk about history to people, many people go toward the Holocaust and ask me and others, how could people do that to other human beings? How did the Germans get wrapped up in Nazi ideology? That is a very nuanced topic, and numerous historians have attempted to explain it since it occurred. I always say that history is a matter of degrees, or to what degree did an event or movement play in the significance of a historical moment. So remember, when I talk about how the Nazis commandeered Christmas in order to gain a larger following, this partially explains how many Germans went along with the Nazi Party in the years leading up to World War II. If you haven't checked out my History of Christmas video, please do. It will help you understand some of the topics I will be covering here. One of the pillars of fascism is to create a mythic past, something to aspire to get back to that never really existed. Christmas afforded the Nazi Party a great way to promote a mythic past with the Germans. It's not revolutionary to say that many Christmas traditions came from Germanic areas, where Norse mythology and pagan ceremony took place in groves and made trees significant. The Christmas tree became adopted by Christians into the Christmas holiday decorations as Christianity spread into pagan-held areas. But to say that Christmas had its foundation in Germany would be a step too far. Christmas is a conglomeration of different traditions and ways of celebrating. The Christmas we have today has evolved greatly from its origins. Check out my History of Christmas video if you want to hear about that evolution. But the Nazis took control of Christmas and portrayed it as significantly German to reach back to a mythic past and combined it with nationalism in order to spread their ideology and grow their party. The Nazis did not come up with connecting Germany to the origins of Christmas. Germans in the late 19th century had already done that, but the Nazi Party expanded it and connected it with their mission. Early book-length studies published around 1860 argued that contemporary celebratory forms preserved the ancient ethnic and cultural past of the German Volk, and concluded that German Christmas fused pagan and Christian belief. The hybrid connections between the pre-Christian Deutsche Weihnachten, German Holy Nights, and the religious Deutsche Christfest, German celebration of Christ, were widely understood as the defining characteristics of a unique German holiday. As the Nazi Party took over Germany, they targeted Christmas by sending out appropriate guidelines for celebration in the home. Christmas candles, typically associated with the Star of Bethlehem or winter solstice, now referenced the rise of the Nazi Party and symbolized the new German ascension that will conquer the powers of darkness. While the radical fringe of the Nazi movement promoted an entirely secularized Christmas, the fascination with pagan rites did not rule out appeals to Christian aspects of the holiday, mimicking the conclusions of their late 19th century predecessors. Nazi writers asserted that the merging of national characteristics in Christianity exemplified in Christmas revealed the origins of the German character. Two other pillars of fascism are the preoccupation with a plot and the establishment of in-groups and out-groups based on nationality, race, gender, religion, etc. Both of those pillars are exemplified in Adolf Hitler's 1921 Christmas speech in Munich. The 4,000 guests applauded loudly when Hitler condemned the mammonistic materialism that degraded the holiday, the fault of the cowardly Jews who nailed the world's liberator to the cross. In the 1920s and early 1930s, similar attacks on communists, socialists, Jews, and liberals were a core feature of Nazi Christmas propaganda and celebrations, which blamed the internal enemies for eroding the sanctity of a real Christmas, typically pitched as a symbol of an authentic German community. The Nazis used Christmas to attack others, especially Germany's Jewish community. They had associated the Christmas tree so well with being German that Germans made numerous complaints about Jewish department stores putting up German trees in their store windows. The party organized protests against buying from Jewish stores. They put out Christmas commercials featuring blonde-haired, blue-eyed families gathered around a Christmas tree opening presents. Through those commercials, they reinforced what a true German was supposed to look like, making it easier to exclude others they deemed unfit. Department store catalogs would feature a large stamp of a fair-haired woman preparing Christmas presents, signifying to the shopper that it was owned by an Aryan. On the radio, Nazi Christmas specials began airing in late November, where they intricately combined Nazi propaganda with traditional carols, programs, and children's shows. In theaters, Germans watched movies about the greatness of Germany and depicted it alongside the pagan and Christian traditions of Christmas to reinforce the idea that the Nazi Party supported the greatness of the German people. Newsreels played in the cinema depicted Nazi officials along with SS soldiers distributing presents to the poor as part of the winter relief program. The Nazification of Christmas did have pushback, especially by Protestant and Catholic clergy, who saw the Nazis as reducing the role of Christianity in its celebration and making the Nazi Party the prime focus of the holiday. Numerous cardinals and preachers delivered sermons to the congregations at Christmas time that emphasized the importance of not letting the party be the reason they celebrate the holiday. They had a right to be concerned, because the Nazi Party was slowly infiltrating the home and direct how families celebrated the holiday. They separated the holiday away from traditional subjects like the birth of Jesus and connected the holiday to the Nazi Party and ancient Germany. German women's leagues taught women to make decorations for the tree with their children and create ornaments that depicted Odin's sun wheel or the Sigerun that SS troops wore. Mothers baked solstice cookies, and chocolate SS soldiers were sold in stores for children to eat. This is a topic rarely covered by World War II documentaries when attempting to explain how Germans agreed to Nazi ideology. But this demonstrates that the party infiltrated every aspect of German people's lives, and even turned the Christmas holiday into a holiday celebrating Hitler and the party that put him in power. We also covered some of the pillars of fascism, which the Nazis followed in order to win over people to their side. Thank you all so much for watching and supporting the channel. I hope you learned something from this video. Don't forget I will be doing an animated battle map of the Battle of Fredericksburg next week, and at the end of the month, I'll be doing an animation for the Battle of Stones River. Thank you all again, and have a great day.
Historian, historian, where do you roam? Historian, historian, far, far from home. Have history will travel reads the card of a man, a professor with knowledge in the heartland. To educate the world is his mission. A professor of fortune is a man called historian. Historian.